Greetings, everyone. Hope all of you are having an absolutely fantastic day. Trailer for Dragon Age Veilguard came out that confirms Morgan will be a part of our adventure. This is absolutely fantastic news considering that previously Claudia Black had said she had not been contacted by Bioware. I'm so happy that's not the case, and it'll be really interesting to see how she is used in the game. But this brings up another question. What are some other party members from previous games that we would love to see show up in Veilguard? In this video, I will list 5 characters who I would love to see make a cameo. Before we get into the list, let me give you a couple of honorable mentions that I'm going to be leaving off. I absolutely want to see Dorian, but Bioware has already confirmed he is going to be in Veilguard. I also want to see Leliana, but Leliana has been in every Dragon Age game, and I kind of feel like at this point it's not a Dragon Age game if she doesn't show up, so I feel relatively confident she'll be there. I also want to see Cassandra, but at the end of Inquisition, she makes it clear that she is going to follow Solus and track him down wherever he is. So my assumption is again that she is somewhere in Veilguard as well. So these characters I'm leaving off the list because I feel like on some level, more than likely, we are going to see them. With the honorable mentions out of the way, let's get into the actual list. If you enjoyed this video, I plan to do a lot more Dragon Age content, so be sure to subscribe down below, hit that bell so you can get all of my videos. First up on the list, Shale. Shale is a party member that you can recruit in Dragon Age Origins. She's actually a dwarf who was changed into a golem, so talking with her gives you a lot more context regarding dwarven culture, and it's great to bring her with you into Orzammar, into those deep road quests, so you can get more information about her background and learn more about her as a character. Shale is hilarious to travel with. She is extremely sarcastic, never ever bites her tongue, but at the same time she can be very inquisitive and insightful. It's really a joy to have her around. She also had interesting mechanics that were unique to her being a golem. Consequently, she could do things like literally pick up a boulder out of the ground and throw it at enemies that no other character on your team was capable of doing. I really enjoyed having Shale in my party, and I think there's a good chance we could see her in Veilguard because towards the end of Origins, Shale makes it clear she wants to be turned back into a human, and she believes the only place where she can learn how to do that is Tevinter. Wynn agrees to go with Shale to Tevinter and assist her in this quest. Now, unfortunately, they get sidetracked and Wynn is no longer alive, but I don't see any reason why Shale couldn't have made that quest herself and could potentially be trying to figure out how to turn herself back human. I would love the opportunity to reconnect with her and help her figure out how to regain her humanity. Next up on the list, Fenris. Fenris is a party member you meet in Dragon Age 2. He has spent a good deal of his life enslaved to his magister, who has put lyrium ink into his skin that gives him strange, unique abilities. That makes his mechanics in the game very interesting, as he has his own special tree that revolves around him being able to use these lyrium abilities, allowing him to literally reach into a person's chest and tear out that heart, which absolutely looks fantastic in the game. One of the reasons I really like Fenris is his story and background, the way he talks about being enslaved, how it affected him mentally, how it impacted his ability to communicate with other people. All of it, in my opinion, is very endearing. And even though Fenris is a very angry and vengeful person, you understand, you get where he's coming from. And he was someone that I was really interested in helping. The reason why I would love to see him in Veilguard is that I would really like to see him in Tevinter with an opportunity to massacre mages. Throughout Dragon Age 2, Fenris makes it clear how much he hates magic, hates magisters, hates spellcasters, feels like they cannot be trusted, and feels like essentially the world will be a better place if all of them were wiped out. And I can absolutely see him joining with a rogue Templar group looking to wipe out all mages, or perhaps, there's a long shot here, but perhaps being a part of an exalted march that the Chantry is attempting to do against the Tevinter Imperium. Regardless, I would love to see Fenris in Tevinter with the opportunity to massacre the mages that he hates so much, and it would be interesting to see him pop up in Veilguard. Next up on the list, Vivienne. You can recruit Vivienne in Dragon Age Inquisition, and in my opinion, she is probably the most perfect representation of a politician I've ever seen in a game. Completely ruthless and self-absorbed, she has no problems with mages being imprisoned in circles because she sees it as an opportunity to boost her own power, and she will sit down and talk with anybody to convince them why it's so important that mages are chained. That makes her a character that I strongly disagree with, but at the same time, I absolutely love talking with her. Bioware did a fantastic job of making her a very, very interesting figure. I would love to see her in Veilguard because, of course, Tevinter is a place where mages are in complete control. And I would love to see how she tries to adapt being in such a place. I know she would be completely disgusted by everything around her. And I think the voice actress, if she was given the right lines, would just chew up the scenery, and it would be a joy to watch. So for me, this is straight up entertainment factor. I just want to see how Vivienne will react being in a place where she is surrounded by mages who are in complete control and held down by no one. All right, that's it for the first 3 names on the list. And honestly, I gave you those names in no particular order. These last 2 are the ones that I really, really want. I hope Bioware has included these people, and I feel like there's a very good chance that they have been included. First up, Sten. Sten is a character that you can recruit in Dragon Age Origins, and he serves as your introduction into the Qunari culture. He is hornless, which is actually completely different from most other Qunari that you meet in the other games, but unfortunately in the first game, Bioware, from a graphic standpoint, couldn't figure out how to give the Qunari horns, so they weren't able to work that out until Dragon Age 2. Regardless, Sten is an absolute joy to talk with because his culture is so foreign and so far away, and virtually all of the other Qunari you meet in Origins are going to be completely hostile to you, so he is the only one that can give you some perspective about who these mysterious people are. Very, very cool. He's a ton of fun to bring out with you into the world. Oftentimes his perspectives are very harsh and very stern, but still interesting to listen to. I really enjoyed him as a character. I'm interested in him popping up in Veilguard for multiple reasons. First, not sure if many people caught this in Inquisition, but it's strongly hinted that Sten has become the Arishok, which means he leads the military wing of the Qunari. The Qunari, at least as far as I know, are still at war consistently with the Tevinter Imperium. So being in Tevinter, I'm hoping we're going to get some insight into that conflict and possibly meet some of the military leaders such as Sten. Also, it would be interesting to see him because based on the events of Dragon Age Origins, Sten has a very deep appreciation for the Grey Wardens, and they should play a big role in Veilguard with the Darkspawn and a Blight breaking out, which is another reason I feel like Sten would show up. He is deeply knowledgeable about what a Blight actually means, how it can impact the Qunari, and it's doubtful that he would just sit on the sidelines and allow it to break out over all of Thedas without saying that the Qunari need to do something. So because of all that and more, I feel like it would be very interesting to see Sten pop up. He could add a bridge from Veilguard all the way back to Origins, tell you some things about what he saw and experienced during his travels with the Grey Warden, and I think it would be just a great way to add some more information regarding the Qunari. So Hopefully Bioware has done that. We shall see. And then finally, the #1 party member who I would love to see in Veilguard, and I know many people are going to disagree with me on this, but I could only be me and have the characters that I like. Anders. I would love to see Anders pop up in Veilguard. So Anders first came up actually in Dragon Age Origins during the Awakening expansion. And then later he came in Dragon Age 2. Now in Dragon Age 2, he's actually combined with a spirit called Justice. And unfortunately, when that spirit bonded with Anders, he was so angry regarding the Mage and Templar conflict that he twisted Justice into vengeance. And it caused Anders to drift closer and closer to being an abomination. And he did some pretty terrible, awful things towards the end of Dragon Age 2 that caused him to be a person on the run. I know that Veilguard is causing people to go back through the series. So I know some of you might have only played Inquisition and perhaps didn't play Dragon Age Origins or Dragon Age 2. So I don't want to reveal exactly what he did, but it was pretty despicable to the point that I feel like no other country would harbor him except for Tevinter. I want Anders to be in Tevinter for a few reasons. First of all, he is a Grey Warden. A blight has broken out. The Darkspawn are back. Having as many Grey Wardens as possible is certainly not a bad thing. So Anders being in Tevinter would be very advantageous. But even more importantly, a big issue that people had with the way Anders was represented in Dragon Age 2 in comparison to Dragon Age Origins is that in Dragon Age Origins, he was presented as a very happy person, funny person, someone who overall had a very positive outlook on life. Whereas in Dragon Age 2, he is constantly angry, constantly bitter, constantly feeling like everyone is against him. And people felt like it was a complete 180 regarding his character that did not feel good. In Tevinter, he would be in a place where the Mage and Templar conflict completely does not exist. So that whole reason for all that rage and bitterness and unhappiness will completely be removed. I'm fascinated to see what Anders would be like in a place where he's surrounded by mages who are essentially free and are in control. But making this even more interesting, he would still have vengeance inside of him, which means he would still be very motivated to right any wrongs that happened in his presence. But in Tevinter, those wrongs that need to be righted would most oftentimes be committed by other mages. So what would Anders be like if the vengeance that was building up inside of him was actually directed towards his other mage kin? I think all of that would be an absolutely fantastic portrayal of him. I actually let Anders live at the end of my Dragon Age 2 playthrough. I know many of you might have decided to kill him off, but if he is alive, I think it would be great to see him pop up in Veilguard, see how life has been for him, and how things are going in Tevinter. Anyway, that's my list. Those are the 5 party members who I would love to see in Veilguard. Let me know your thoughts down below. Who would you like to see pop up? Or even if they're not party members, what characters in general would you like to see make cameos in Dragon Age Veilguard? Appreciate you watching the video. Hope you all enjoyed it. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.